All right, let's get to the story. The chief economist and partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers in Nigeria, Andrew Nevin, says the country's gross domestic product will grow some $30 billion above South Africa in the current 2016 fiscal year. Nigeria's GDP stands at $568 billion in 2014 versus $350.1 billion for South Africa. The gap is set to widen, according to Nevin, as South Africa faces some key challenges in its mining and energy sectors. Speaking at the presentation of the new research report on Nigeria, Looking Beyond Oil in Lagos Thursday, Mr. Nevin says despite the present challenges facing Nigeria as Africa's biggest economy, the potentials of the country beyond oil are enormous. The new study jointly done by the international consulting firm and the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry highlights tax basket expansion, proper fiscal management, ease of doing business, and developing a knowledge-based economy as some major drivers of economic diversification for Africa's largest oil producer. The PWC chief economist says Nigeria's intrinsic economic potential lie beyond crude oil, advising that the country should prepare, however, for life beyond the oil resource. And two of Nigeria's largest cement producers, Lafarge Africa and Ashoka, has announced disappointing earnings for the 12 months ended December 2015. The second largest listed cement producer, Lafarge Africa, reports a profit decline of about 7 billion naira for the year under review, as the figure comes in at 26.9 billion naira from 33.5 billion a year earlier. In a statement released to the stock exchange on Thursday, Lafarge Africa, however, states that its revenue rose from 260.8 billion naira to 267.2 billion in the 2015 operating period. Now, earlier today, the Northwest Nigeria-based Ashoka Cement announced a 1.2 billion naira fall for the 2015 period to 2.7 billion naira, down from 4.5 billion in the previous year of 2014. Industries in Nigeria were faced with severe foreign exchange supply shortages last year, including difficulties of electricity, several months of petrol product scarcity, as well as increase in general operating expenses in an election year. Now let's talk to some of these earnings from some of Nigeria's big industries and some of the big banks since the new earnings season gets started. Let's bring on the program Ayo Akimomi, who's the head of research at FSDS Merchant Bank. He's talking to us from downtown Lagos. Ayo, good afternoon to you. We thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Let's peg this conversation on the earnings from Lafarge and Ashoka Cement. Very disappointing numbers.
Yeah, I think the results that the two companies declared for this full year 2015 were actually lower than what they declared for the corresponding period of last year. And of course, for obvious reasons, we realized and we observed in 2015 that there were low economic activities, construction activities in the country. It was like government did not do much last year, which was one of their biggest customers. Well, so if you look at Ashoka Cement, they faced particular specific issues in that northern part of the country where they operate, where the insurgents where the activities were very high last year. But this year, we may likely see the same thing. It may take some time for economic activities to pick up, but once they pick up, we believe that given the infrastructure deficit we have in the country, housing deficit, we believe that the company will do well going forward. They also, it's the fact that Ashoka, there are plans to expand their operations. And the fact that as soon as the government continues to rebuild that northern part of the country where there had been a lot of destruction in offices and building and infrastructure, I do believe that businesses will pick up and their business will also increase.
Well, if we stick with the cement sector story, Lafarge is the second largest cement producer in Nigeria, behind Dangote Cement, of course the most capitalized company also on the market. But it looks right now from the numbers we're seeing that Dangote Cement seems to be the only one making money among the cement producers. The others are making losses. How is Dangote Cement making money in this same environment? Ayo.
I think Dangote Cement has taken time to expand their operations across Nigeria and across the modern African countries. They also have operations in South Africa, so they are in Cameroon, they are expanding. The plants they have in Nigeria is actually far bigger than the plants that the closest competitor, which is Lafarge, operates in Nigeria. Because of the large economic of scale they've had, they are able to dictate prices for their various products in Nigeria. And therefore, you remember that now, sometimes last year, 2 times last year, they announced price cut. I think earlier this year, they announced a price cut also to boost, to improve sales. And so it's like they are the leader, and the other companies, cement manufacturers in the country are actually following them. So I think they are leveraging on the scale which they have built over time, and of course they are exporting to other countries, other West African countries, and that's, I think, the major advantage they have over others.
Ayo, let's wrap up the conversation. You're in the banking, financial services industry, so you understand the numbers more coming through from your colleagues in the industry. We've seen about 4, 5, 6 banks, a few profit warnings from EcoBank Transnational, from Diamond Bank, from FBNH. On the other hand, we've seen Zenith, we've seen UBA, as well as Access Bank and GT reporting very positive, strong numbers. Put these two together for us, put it side by side. What does the research and the state of the banking sector, what does it tell you about these numbers from 2015?
We released a banking report last year, which we tried to that there would be short time, there would be opportunity, there are issues in the system, particularly from the upstream, which will make banks to declare some, the earnings of the banks to be impaired by some loans which they have extended to the upstream oil and gas last year. Oil price at $111 per barrel, now about 40, hovering around $40. Again, the fact that the weak economic activities, the weak consumer spending in the countries have actually had adverse impact on the income of their customers, and even ability of companies which they lend money to repay. It's one of the things that loans to give to them. We've seen built up of inventories, receivables. So all these impact on the banking earnings. GTB have actually reported very strong earnings and marginal improvement over what they did in the previous years. We have also seen the Access Bank improvement. However, Access Bank had more like an exceptional item.
Ayo, I think we have a bit of a patchy audio connection in the Skype conversation. Well, thank you very much. We understand what you're trying to say, the problems with the banks and the issues they've had with those. Credits to the energy sector as well as what you call the crude oil sector segment of the market. Less of that in the downstream where you have petrol. Ayo Akumi, Head of Research at FSDH Merchant Bank. We appreciate your time this afternoon. But let's stick with Nigeria, where a local energy company based in the north, Kaduna to be precise, is producing fuel-efficient cooking stoves that use a handful of twigs to cook food. The organization, Development Association for Renewable Energies, that's the name, is hopeful that these innovations will help reduce the number of trees chopped down every year by many Nigerians who depend on wood fuel for energy.
Station, if you like, we have the flag.
Yahaya Ahmed is supervising workers as they assemble wood stoves for sale at a workshop in Kaduna, northern Nigeria. The innovative kitchen stove has been designed to save energy and uses less fuel compared to ordinary charcoal stoves. The NGO partnered with the United Nations to make the stoves for low-income households in the country. With an investment of over $79,000, the company is able to set up, and since the project started in 2005, produce over 37,000 wood stoves. The stoves are made of stainless steel and have a lifespan of 10 years each, and the parts are imported from Germany, but it takes about 20 minutes to put them together.
You'll be feeding the stove with twigs of wood, 1 or 2 pieces at a time. So by the time you put about 4 or 5 pieces, whatever you have here will be boiling.
Nigeria has one of the highest rates of deforestation globally. The country lost over 2 million hectares of forest annually between 2005 and 2010, driven by agricultural expansion, logging and infrastructure development. And this is according to risk analysis and mapping company Maplecroft. Wood fuel such as charcoal remains one of Africa's main energy sources for cooking and heating.
Most of the wood we chop here from our woodlands, we burn them, so we are literally burning our forests. And there's a very simple means of reducing this, because if you ask the people why are they cutting down the trees and is it not bad for the environment, they will tell you they know, but they don't have alternative. Kerosene is expensive for some people, especially during the time of fuel crisis. Very few people can afford gas. That's if at all, if they know even how to use it. Electricity, how many people cook with electricity?
Development Association for Renewable Energies is looking to introduce the wood stoves to more homes across the country.
It doesn't smoke. I can cook rice, cook beans, cook swallow very fast. So the stuff is nice.
If it is well accepted nationwide, I think we'll have entrepreneurs who will take it up and start doing it as a real business. And still, I think there's a possibility of getting even more benefits from the accrued carbon credit.
Nigeria is one of the biggest users of solid fuel for cooking, with over 120 million Nigerians relying on firewood and charcoal for their cooking needs.
The next time you're in London, the iconic double-decker red buses you may be riding may as well come from Africa. After the break.